jump in on the deep end with Trolley rebranding, refreshing their brand. It's really not a huge change. Let me share this with everyone watching.
I have to be honest, I kind of forgot that Trolley existed as a brand.
So did I. Do they? I mean, does anyone eat like Trolley's sold in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they have those little mini burgers. I think that's where I'm familiar with them. Um,
Yes.
they probably do sourworm sort of things. I just feel like it's one of those things. Like in Australia, they probably don't compete as well as like Allen's and Natural Confectionery. They're probably the two.
Sort of the Aussie companies who do
Yeah, leading
a
in
lot of
that
these.
space. But I'm sure they'd actually have a decent market share in Australia.
Probably, and I mean globally, they'd be pretty big, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Trolley's sort of like, is it Haribo? The other aren't
Mm-hmm.
Haribo German as well?
Yeah, Haribo's very much like just gummy bears. I'm sure they've got other stuff too, but that's their thing.
That's their thing. I mean, this logo refresh is pretty simple. They've just modernized it, haven't they?
Yeah, they've gone the same kind of route that a lot of brands have been going, which is just taking the logo they've got and flattening it, just taking out a lot of those like extra details that sort of add complexity and just simplifying it.
Yeah,
Um,
and this would scale better. I haven't seen the social media applications for this new logo, but this would definitely scale better and work better in small applications. Because, like you said, Kelsey, the old version is very similar. I mean, it's basically identical, but they've gotten rid of those sort of complex details that
mm,
are they're pretty. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but
but there's like three
not
layers
modern.
to it in that old one because you've got that white outline. I think there's also like a black outline,
There is,
the
yeah.
pink, and then also the detailing on the, to make it like,
Like the reflection.
yeah,
It's
make it
got
puffy,
that
I
old
guess.
school, yeah, that extrude effect if you use like 3D tools, which is a very old school approach, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of interesting how they've pulled across the like purple dot, and that's the only part of the purple they've kept. And I don't know why.
Yeah, they've gone with a more subtle purple. Maybe, you know what it is? I think if you're watching this stream, you'll see the packaging comparison. And I think if they use the purple, or like the pink, I mean, it wouldn't stand out as much as the white. And I think what this has allowed them to do is maintain the 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 sort of look and feel somewhat while modernizing it and then having a logo that pops.
Mm, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Are you
I don't know.
disagreeing?
No, I was just trying to look at the like the difference in the packaging, and I'm trying to decide which one I like more because I almost feel like the new one looks cheaper, which is a bit weird, and I can't figure out why it looks cheaper to me.
Yeah, maybe it is a bit flatter, but then again, if you look at the old one, it does look a bit more old school with sort of the floating bubbles in the background, and um, it's a lot more layered than the new one is.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely see why you think the new one looks cheap. I've spoken, presented logos and branding in the past to clients who've had a similar reaction because maybe it's because it seems to be less fussy, and that then I think makes it look easier to do, and then therefore like cheaper in that it's just a simplified or simpler um, overall presentation, which might be the reason. It is interesting though. Think that the worms on the new packaging still have that 3D effect to them, where um, the that effect has been removed from everything else. Where the old branding had that 3D effect on every element,
Mm.
except the worms.
Yeah,
Um,
I was just thinking about that. And it's a slightly different animation style. Animation's the wrong word, cartoon style. Um,
Illustration style, yeah.
illustration, that's the word I'm looking for. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as connected.
But
Mm.
saying that, maybe in their market segment, like this is in German. So I guess this is why it's good when you're doing this sort of exercise. If you're a company looking to do this sort of exercise to hire from a local market, in that, German companies and agencies would know what they're competing with. It's not like we couldn't do the same thing in that, well, get someone to send German lollies over, or try and find packaging. But maybe in the German market, this works better, or this has a certain look, or the local market or the local consumer thinks about this in a different way, because let's not kid ourselves, we don't think like Germans, and
Mm.
so maybe that's what it is.